Actually, the kids haven't been bad. It's the chaperones that have been.
Oh boy.
We don't get along always. We don't see eye to eye because we're very different.
It's plenty hot. Oh boy. All right, well, hi everyone. My name is Andrew Moran. We're here at Music Travel Consultants, and it is our annual kind of famous or infamous chili cook-off day. And we've got here Jef Furr, who's one of our owners, and he is getting ready to retire. And we've decided that we're not going to let him go so easily. We've got a little bit of a challenge for him, but before we get into...
No sweat.
Right, yeah. Before we get into all of this, just want to talk a little bit about Jef. Jef was a band director for 16 years prior to coming over to Music Travel Consultants with us, and he's won the State Fair Band Day, which we are now super excited to be involved in. His bands have been to Macy's, to the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade, and he's certainly a treasure here at Music Travel Consultants. So we've decided that we're not going to let him go and get off the hook quite so easily. So we've got a little bit of a challenge here. We are big fans of the First We Feast show Hot Ones. So we're going to do a little bit of a variation on that in conjunction with our chili cook-off. So we've got 10 hot sauces here lined up from not so hot to super
Not so hot. I bet it's hot.
And we're going to eat a lot of chili today.
All right.
So here we go. So,
Take a bite.
are you mixing it up?
No.
Okay. All right. So as you're eating this, I'm going to be asking you questions.
Okay.
And so try not to answer incorrectly. So,
Incorrectly.
how did you start working at Music Travel Consultants? How did you get involved in it? It's plenty hot.
No, not that bad.
What are we?
It's supposed to be serious, but it's not serious. So there you go. When I was teaching at Alexandria, John Sturm and Jack Calabrese and Ron Tade visited the Alexandria band and I and wanted us to take a trip. So we took a trip, and then John took me as a tour director on the Carmel's Orange Bowl trip, which was the first year that Richard Saucedo, was a director there, and ever since then I started doing tour directing during like Christmas and spring break and Thanksgiving. And then when 1994, I decided to come work for Music Travel full time, and it was actually, I took a year's leave from teaching, thinking that if I didn't like working here, I could go back to teaching. But I liked it, so I stayed.
Sure.
Anyway,
Excellent.
I did lots of trips part-time, and then the rest of it's kind of history. Whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Number two, here we go.
Number two,
Bottoms up.
Here we go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep,
Good.
that's got some kick to it. All right, second question. So you talked a little bit about, getting into tour directing. What was your first tour directing experience like? Who was it with? Where'd you go?
It was the Orange Bowl, and it was Carmel High School, and I remember they chartered a plane, and it was all new to me. And I remember that we ended up with Barb Mosher was the head chaperone, and we got down to Orlando, and we got down to Miami, got everybody at the hotel, and she had no suitcase. And I remember trying to find it at the airport, trying to find it on the plane, trying to find it here and there. We couldn't find it, and she ended up for like 3 days borrowing clothes from other chaperones. And you know, it was Carmel, so all the ladies had nice clothes.
Sure.
And she was all excited because she had like a, I don't know, a fancy something or other. And then we finally found it like the 4th day, and it was all good. But it was just, and we stayed at a hotel on Miami Beach called the San Souci or something like that.
Okay.
And it was kind of fair, but we had a good time.
Excellent.
It was fun.
You ready?
Yeah, that stuff's nasty.
The almond milk?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so on to number 3.
Okay.
It's not so bad.
Of course, some of them they hit you after a while.
Right, yeah. So when you were a band director, did you ever travel with music travel consultants? And if so, where'd you go?
We did, the first one was the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade. We did that, and then we went to New York. The second one was at Southport High School, and that was the Macy's Parade. And then Southport did the Philadelphia Parade in '91, I think it was. And then in, I think '93 or '94, Southport did, the whole department went to Walt Disney World, the whole music department. So.
Shall we?
Sure.
Let's do it. All right, so we're on question number 4. What's your favorite music? Your favorite memory at Music Travel Consultants?
Favorite memory? Oh my gosh, there's so many of them. Probably the coolest thing was when we took the first time we were able to take Purdue to to Ireland, and there were 508 people. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we had Vanessa was on the trip, and she was an alumni. She's also now on the Purdue University board, but she had just retired. She was the had been the CEO of J.C. Penney's.
Okay.
And she had just retired. She was on the trip, and then we had John Marikas, who was on the trip, and his son was in the drum line, and he was the CEO of Sherwin-Williams at the time. And they were just really cool people, and just a lot of neat, nice bunch of people, and the band kids up there are just amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember John, the CEO of Sherwin-Williams guy, was actually helped load the coaches with the drums, and the drums got wet parade morning, and he was out there with a towel cleaning off all the percussion stuff. Wow. And it was just pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there's just all kinds of stuff like that. You know, just watching the kids expressions when we finish a performance and stuff like that. And, you're on a trip. This is corny, but oh well. You're on a trip for a week or so with a bunch of kids, and a lot of the kids that we take on these trips have never done anything like this before. So we take them on this trip. They do a performance. They see these sights and stuff like that, and they're kind of your kids for a week, and then you get to tell them bye.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
All right,
go.
so we're halfway through. We're on number 5. Tell us about your appearance on the big screen.
It was brief, and if you blinked, you missed it. I had hair. The Southport School Song was written in 1942 by a lady by the name of Doris Slensker. She was a student, and the producers of the movie called and said they needed the sheet music and the words and all that stuff to the movie, and so I sent that to them. Then about a month later they called and they said they wanted to use this in the film, and I was like, oh wow, cool. And they needed to get her permission for using the music, and we spent 3 days on the set. 3 of the longest, most boring days ever to watch them do this movie. And when you watch it now, it looks like all those gyms are full of screaming people. No, no way.
Yeah.
How they got those pictures, I have no idea. But it was cool because the kids got to meet Gene Hackman and Barbara Hershey and all the basketball players, and that was pretty cool. And they were like begging people to come be in the audience, and they were giving away door prizes for all that. And when they would do that, give away the door prizes, Gene Hackman or one of the actors would come over. Dennis Hopper was there. Would come over and get the cymbals or the snare drum, and we'd do a drum roll, and,
cool.
and the kids would cheer and stuff and everything. But it was just a really cool experience. We only made $500 for being in the movie, which was bad.
Yeah.
But we did make $1,000 because the whole band got to go down to the Circle Theater when they premiered it, and we stood on the Circle as all the limos pulled up, and that was fun. An interesting sidebar to that is Dean Westman out at Avon was the band director at Stephen F. Austin, and we have this connection because we're both in movies. And the Stephen F. Austin band is in the Texas football movie called Friday Night Lights, and they made $17,000.
Wow!
So he was a much better negotiator than I was. But anyway, we still had fun. But great memories.
That's awesome. Alrighty, on to number 6. You have been known to be maybe more than a little bit accident prone.
Yeah.
Recently you had a couple of injuries.
And your point.
Yeah. A biking accident, a time where you fell off of North Central Orchestra's lift truck. But can you tell us a little bit about what happened? Oh, okay, Carmel's lift truck, sorry. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened though at Southport when you were conducting the band on stage?
It wasn't on stage. It was on the parking lot in the marching band practice. The kids were all in a company front, and I was on the drum major's podium, which wasn't a big one at that time, thank heavens, because if it was like it is now. They were in company front. We were rehearsing. I had the bullhorn going, and I just stepped off the back of it, and there was a Bach Stradivarius trumpet lying there. I missed that. I did not land on it, and I just caught myself, reacted to it, and I jumped up, and I went, and the kids didn't make a sound.
Yeah.
They didn't make a sound. And I went, well, I'm okay. And then they laughed, which was appropriate, sort of. And then about an hour or so later, there was a kid in the band, Sean Christie, whose dad was a physician, and I said, Sean, I think I need to see your father. And they were both swollen, and by midnight I had casts from elbows, thumbs, both sides. All I had was 4 fingers, and it was, I think, a little bone at the base of your wrist and thumb called the navicula. Excuse me.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there. The navicula that was like the size of a nickel, and it was cracked in half, and both x-rays matched, and the doctor was like, oh my gosh. My sister Mandy was with me at the time. She helped teach, she was the flag instructor, and so anyway, so the doctor's telling us that they're both broken. Of course, she bursts out into laughter, being my sister, and of course the doctor goes, well, why does your wife think that? So, well, it's not my wife, but anyway, but I actually went to school the next day.
Wow, look at you.
Because we had, I think it was a cheese and sausage kickoff or something, and Frank Venus was going to be there. And, but then I think it only lasted till like 10 o'clock and went home. But the 7 weeks, I wouldn't eat in front of anybody. I couldn't drive. It was, and then like 3 weeks after they came off, I did a trip. So it was Twin Lakes to Philadelphia and New York City. So, but I do remember that. I just had to be real careful lifting suitcases.
Sure.
And then the rest of it, we don't need to necessarily go into all the other accidents, but
but there are plenty.
We could. There are a few. I've had 4 surgeries from Ortho Indy in the last 2 years and 2 months. So, frequent flyer.
So, tell us a little bit about the Guard and the show that won WGI the A-Class World Championship?
It was just a really special group of kids, very special. It was a couple instructors that were amazing. The guy that created it all, Scott Lee, and his wife Colleen, she did most of the equipment work. He did the creating of it and some of the equipment work. I rehearsed it quite a bit. I paid for it. Well, the band paid for it, but I wrote the checks and whatnot. But it was just a really cool bunch of kids that we had no idea was going to go as far as it would go, and then it went and it kept going, and it was very, very successful. The interesting thing that a lot of people didn't ever know, that Scott, that created it all and did all the backdrops and the see-through scrims and stuff that we did, he was colorblind. He's an artist.
Huh.
He was colorblind, but he still came up with all these color schemes that were amazing and stuff. But the thing that put him over the edge is at the middle of the show, it was some John Rutter stuff. The middle of the show, there was these huge scrims that came out, covered the basketball floor from one end to the other, and they had country scenes on them, prairie type stuff, and they were see-through. Mm-hmm. And half the guard was on one side and half the guard was on another side, and they did opposite motions of one another. So when you actually looked at it, it looked like you were looking in a mirror. Okay. And it was really, really cool. Mm-hmm. And every time we performed that, and when they started that part of the show, you could hear the audience go, they would like, oh wow, and things like that. Sure. It was just really cool. As I said, it was just a neat bunch of kids and a very neat experience. And we had no idea it was going to be as successful as it was, but it was. It was cool.
Excellent.
Cheers.
All right.
Not yet for cheers, but anyway.
All right, so we're on number 8. As some may already know, you're a twin.
Yes.
And then you have a younger sister and a dog named Caleb. Tell us a little bit about all three, and no pressure here, but which you get along with the best?
Oh, well, that's easy. Well, I don't know. They might both watch this. The twin lives in the Seattle area, and she's 20 minutes older. They didn't know I was there, and I was, obviously. And because back then, they didn't have all those fancy tests and everything. So, but she's great. We don't get along always. We don't see eye to eye because we're very different. But we tolerate one another, and we're sorry.
Yeah, no joke.
That one was a kicker. We actually are, and this kind of attributes to the hot sauce, but we're actually a lot more closer because of parents passing and that kind of thing. But anyway, and then Mandy is we're really close, and she's in Florida now, and she's 6 years younger, and we picked on one another all the time, and we still do, because that's what brothers and sisters are for a lot of times. Mm-hmm. But she's great. I'm going to go down and visit her right before Christmas, and it'll be fun. And then, oh my gosh. That one was hot.
Uh-huh.
And the dog Caleb I've had over 8 years. I've never ever had a dog in my life, and he's been amazing. And most of you have met him, and he's pretty cool. And he's learned tricks. And it's one of those where you can teach an old dog new tricks. But okay, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's crazy hot.
Yeah. Next.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're on number 9. We're almost there. Your travels have taken you all around the world.
Yes.
If you could pick one place as your favorite, where would that be and why?
I like Salzburg, Austria, and part of that's just because it's a very, very cool, quaint, old city with a very neat city center, and I've been able to. Oh yeah. That chili's hot, hot.
Oh boy.
I throw up.
Yeah, steady.
Do not put that online. Yep, next question.
All right, Jeff, we're on the last one.
Yay.
This one's called the last dab because it's the last
Oh, I
sauce.
see.
This one's only 3 times hotter than anything we've had so far. So,
Cool.
while I'm pouring you here, Jeff, everyone knows that you're independently wealthy.
No, I don't.
We will let you retire without having to experience the last and hottest sauce if you will donate $1 million to Music Travel Consultants.
Yeah,
Deal
right.
or no deal?
No deal.
No deal. All right. Well, that settles it. We are on
I'll
the
put you in
last
my
one.
will, but but I'm planning on using most of it.
All right. You ready, buddy?
Yeah, I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
Oh.
It wasn't bad for a minute,
Yeah.
but it is now.
It is, yeah.
Well, you made it. We made it. Congratulations,
yay.
Jeff.
Thank you, Andrew.
At this point, do you have anything that you'd like to say to, to your dedicated clients, and let us know what you're planning on doing in your retirement?
I'm just enjoying life, doing more traveling without 100 kids.
Yep.
And well, the kids actually, the kids haven't been bad. It's the chaperones that have been right?
Sure. You're talking.
Some of them are great. Some of the chaperones are amazing, but some of them are not.
They're all great.
Yeah, you can edit that part out.
Okay, excellent. Well,
No, and it's the cool thing is that through all of this, with the staff, the people that have worked here, and everyone, and just clients and stuff. It just all the friendships that have been developed and everything. And I was many years ago. I was on vacation in Jacksonville, Florida. I was sitting around the pool. Relaxing with some friends, and 2 chaperones walked past. Hey Jeff, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, how are you? You run into them everywhere.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
That's excellent.
but it's fun. Fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
for enduring this with me. I know I feel a lot closer to you now.
Yeah, well,
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us through this. We're gonna get him to an urgent care. Thanks so much.
anybody have Tums? Oh, we
Yeah.
have those jars. Those jars.